Hi everyone, welcome back to Let's Do Bonsai. I'm Scott Winard. It's been a while. It's Friday, it's Sunday the 27th of June and it's almost 7:30 in the evening. We've had some busy times here at Let's Do Bonsai, but some exciting times as well. If I just come round here, you'll see a lot of the pre-bonsai trees and other bonsai trees are laid out on the garden, and that's because the bonsai area that I use around the side of the house is undergoing a transformation. Let's go and have a look at that now. So as we venture through into the bonsai area, you will notice the fence has gone. We've been building a wall and it's not too bad, even if I do say so myself. We need to raise it up ever so slightly, and then we can put a little lean-to roof on the top, and then this is going to be the studio for the bonsai area. Hopefully we'll keep the small greenhouse towards the back if there's enough room for an internal for the tropical stuff, and then the more hardier stuff will be outside and within the studio area for over winter. Say hello, Pete. Everybody's looking at you. Pete's been ever so helpful, but yeah, it's been a long drawn out job getting this wall up so that we can put the roof on top and start cracking and getting some more videos and more trees looked at and sorted. But for now, let's do some quick updates just to see where we're at. So up here on the shelf within the bonsai area, we can see that the horse chestnuts have grown really well. I have one larch that's continuing to grow with a bit of green, but this one appears to have died, and then we've got a couple down here that seem to have died. They budded out. You can see that, you know, they started budding and then for some reason they just died back. It will be root issues, as Nigel Saunders messaged me. Sounds like root issues, Nigel said. And absolutely it will be that, because during the winter they were knocked over by someone who will remain nameless, and that certain somebody has a certain penchant for tree roots, and he decided to eat some of the roots. They were quickly potted back up, but obviously not in time to save them in the long run. So as they were budding out, they must have lost all their energy and died away, which is really, really unfortunate, because I'd been growing them for about 3 years and they were just about ready to go into a forest, and there were some really nice sized trunks, not quite the thickness of my finger, but the trunks were just starting to develop and starting to look nice, and they died off. But most other things are doing quite well. We've got an acer there that's died back on a few branches, but then we've got new growth coming out. We have 2 new ficuses to replace the 2 that died off. One that did die back has since recovered. Another horse chestnut in there and another at the back. The 2 willows, pre-bonsai willows, are doing well. We'll have a quick look into the greenhouse. The large ginkgo's doing well in there. That's just over 5 foot tall now. And then the cherry trees, we're going to pot those on very soon. The lemon seedlings doing really well in there. And then from the kits, we've got some pines that are doing really well. We'll just quickly glance around the pines. Lots of growth on those. And there's one there that looked like it wasn't going to do a great deal. I'll just pull that out. And this is where I was saying the other day to somebody, just give them a chance, because they will do quite well. So the top of that wasn't there a few weeks ago, and the little branch that's coming out of the side wasn't there a few weeks ago either. There was just a little bit of needle growth at that new growth point there that you can see in the middle, and then all of a sudden it exploded. It put that inch and a bit of growth on at the top, and then this new branch coming out at the side. So what we're going to have to do is get all the plants and trees that came from those kits and pull them out and get them into some larger pots and larger containers and get them well on their way. The ficus, ginseng ficus that died off, cut the top away, as you can see there, and all this new growth has fully exploded from that point where we had one branch growing out of. And it's all fresh, it's all new. It's happened over the last maybe 2 months, and it's just really exploded, more so over the last probably 3 weeks. So we'll have to investigate, let it grow, but there's going to be a lot of branch selection to be carried out on that. But that's good news that the ginseng ficus, although it died at that top end, has got life in it, lots of life in those roots, which has pushed out all that new growth. You've got the smaller apple, we've got the smaller lemon and orange tree at the back there, and the larger apple and the larger lemon and orange tree just here, and they're doing really nice. And on one of them there is the start of a fruit there. It appeared, it hasn't done a great deal. I'm not worried too much if it doesn't grow too big, but yeah, there was a start of some fruit on that one, so we'll be interesting to see if anything comes. And then, as usual, the catalpas that grew from seeds, they've sprung up even further to the point where we need to get them outside because they're just growing absolutely, wildly. So that's it for the small greenhouse. So coming back out onto the patio, we have the little cold box that was round the side. You can see the horse chestnuts growing really well there. The rowan is growing really well. One of the willows at the back there doing really well. We've got a heavily pruned pine that's started to push out new growth. We did think that was pretty dead. We've got some heather there for some reason. And then the sacred figs that we grew from seed continue to grow well. We've got to get those out of those pots because the roots in there are going to be quite wild. And then at the side of that, I've inherited 2 ginkgo bonsais. We'll just pull them out for a quick look. And there it is. That's one of them in all its glory. This is the better one of the two. Lots of growth on this ginkgo bonsai. It's got a curved trunk that comes up from the bottom, curves out and then back in, and then starts doing some other stuff at the top. Lots of branches that just need to be taken back and tidied up. It looks like it's looking for a new leader, but I think that's probably going to be about as high as we let this go. So we're going to need to take this back as far as we can. This is the other ginkgo. The leaves don't look as good on this one. They do look a bit variegated, which is interesting, but I think that might be more to do with how it's growing. There's lots of roots in that pot, and the pot is quite small for those roots, I would say. We've got one big root here that comes out and then doubles back on itself, so we definitely got some root work to do on these as well. So out onto the front, the hazel is doing really well. That's going to want trimming back and a lot of work done on that. The Parvifloria white pine is putting out all sorts of lovely new growth. This is the one that people were worried that I'd killed it when I did a mass repot and root prune, clean the roots, etc. But there's lots of new growth coming up on that. The redwood is absolutely full. We've got our work cut out with that. We really need to do some work on the redwood, but as it stands there and you look in from the front, it looks really well. The large Cotoneaster, which I can pronounce a little bit better now, Cotoneaster, thanks to Nigel and his video just recently. I still like to say Cotoneaster because that's what it looks like to me, but I will start saying Cotoneaster with a few Cotoneasters thrown in for good measure. Some other pre-bonsai material doing really well. The pre-bonsai cherry has a few cherries on it, half a dozen. There's one there, 3 there, and then 2 at the top. So we'll be doing some work on that and probably tasting the cherries. The apple tree that we are air layering on the main trunk, which has horrified a lot of people, is doing really well. I had a sneak peek. There are roots on that main trunk, so we will have the top half of this hopefully, which will go on, and there's some good branching on that, and then we have some nice branching coming lower down on this apple tree. So yes, when we make the trunk chop, we will have plenty to work at. We've lost a tree there. It had some nice growth to it, but that hasn't made it. I think that was an Acer. That's died all the way back, but no mind. And then we've got some of the horse chestnuts, the oaks in there growing well. I think we lost this one at the front as the work was being carried on around the side. Some trees were getting watered and some trees were missing the, the watering. The small Cotoneaster that was repotted previously is there and growing okay. It was repotted into a slightly bigger pot because I'm trying to get out of the habit of just throwing things into small pots and expecting them to work as bonsai. We need to strengthen these trees first and grow the roots and give them every good, decent start in their bonsai life before we start putting them in these small pots. So that's a habit that I'm going to have to break. I also received a nice package in the post a couple of weeks ago from Ashley Bonner from Portsmouth. Kindly sent me 2 Crassula tetragonta pine trees. So they're the succulents that grow up and look like pine trees. I've put them into these little glass pots and they've done exceptionally well. When they came, they were about this big and they were a little bit weedy where they'd been in the mail, but you can see all the fresh new growth. Ashley himself will know how well these have grown from the cuttings that came, and they look absolutely fantastic in the small time that they've been here. And happy to say that both cuttings are doing really well, Ashley, so thank you very much for that. You'll also see that they seem to put down aerial roots, so that's quite exciting. We've got some aerial roots growing off these straight away. They plunge their roots straight down into this new bonsai soil mix that we've got. Ashley also kindly sent me some Crassula Moneymaker variegated jades, and when I potted them into this old pate pot, they basically sat flush on the top of the soil, and you can see that now there's quite a bit of growth above the soil, and they're doing also really nicely and really well. They get a little bit of water probably once a week just to keep them happy, and they've instantly grown really well. There's new leaves popping out from the center, and yeah, they're doing really well. So thank you very much, Ashley, much appreciated, and really happy to report that the cuttings that you sent are doing extremely well, fantastic growth, and I'm really looking forward to them putting more growth on and becoming something exciting one day. So there you go, busy times here at Let's Do Bonsai, with a lot of busy times coming up as well. So we'll try and keep all these trees on the right path, keep them fed, keep them watered, and keep them going. But also the giveaway that we did for the tools for the bonsai channel, for the 100th video that we had, I finally got around to sorting out how we do that, and I've dropped a link into the description below. And yeah, if you click on that link, that gives you a way to enter the competition, and you'll be able to see, you know, that it's taking place correctly and we're doing it right. So there's 3 of the kits, the brass kits with churns and all the tools available, 1 set of tools available without a churn, and there's the 1 brass boot with the 3 tools in that's available. But obviously you'll be entered into the competition for all what's available. Best of luck, go for it. Yeah, go for it. So yeah, that's it from me today at Let's Do Bonsai. Have a great rest of your day. If you do go out, be kind to others, animals and the planet, and as always, we'll see you again in the next one.